This was back in the 80s.
He prayed enough for the day.
84, 85, something like that.
Good afternoon. Let regular meeting call to order. Let's bow our heads, please.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, we just thank you, Lord, for all the blessings that you've given each one of us. Father, we ask that you continue to lead and guide us as we conduct the business of the parish. Lord, we are grateful for all the men and women that allow us this privilege to conduct our business, Father. Be with us as we leave here tonight, Lord, and just let us do the will that you have for each one of us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Follow me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If there's any announcements? Any call for additions and deletions to the agenda? I have one, item number 19. Need to be deleted from the special event permit. They changed their date, so they have time to go through the necessary hoops for the permit.
Number
19. 19.
Number 19.
Improving the special
changed
event.
Oh,
18.
yeah,
Oh,
number
well.
19.
You have the wrong 19.
Got a motion by Mr. Rowe. I get a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Jones and Mr. Holmes. Roll call vote, Mr. Baker.
Aye.
Mr. Burrell.
Aye.
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 Okay, ayes have it, so we'll be deleting number 19. Okay, guest and public comments. Item number 1, Mr. Ron Michoto and Alex Washington for 3M class action. Good evening.
Good afternoon. Ron Michoto, 628 Stoner, Shreveport.
And Alex Washington with Washington Wells Law Firm.
Yes, sir.
1700 Shreveport, Louisiana. I appreciate you having us out here today, and I'm gonna just give you a little history of why we arrived here. Some of you may be familiar with the 3M lawsuit dealing with that firefighter's phone, AFFF. We represent currently several cities, and we file suits on behalf of those cities. Mr. Schroeder's co-counsel. We've been working with Barron and Budd, which is one of the largest firms in America, and also the Cossack Law Firm, which is down in New Orleans, and they kind of was lead on these lawsuits that you saw settled for over $10 billion. Once the settlement took place, they started looking at Louisiana and other different areas, and they noticed that DeSoto Parish had an airport, and potentially in the settlement discussions that you may have a claim. So if you have a claim, you'll be able to actually be a part of the settlement process. So from that point, I made contact with the police jury, and that's how we ended up here. So the next question is, how much is this gonna cost us? It's not gonna cost you anything. So there's no cost involved. We don't know that you have a viable claim, but they believe that you do. So they're gonna send some water equipment to you all to be tested.
Okay.
At no cost. And if it's determined that there is a claim, obviously we'd be in contact with the administration and we move forward from there.
Okay.
I entertain any questions that you may have.
You have any literature on this?
I didn't bring it, but I can email
I
it.
supplied something to Mr. Norton a month ago or so, but I'll be happy to email it to everyone.
Okay.
It's in your binder.
It's in your
It's in the binder?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All the literature is in the binder.
Okay.
There any more questions? Okay, well, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Appreciate your help.
Here we have Mr. Eric England with the update on the I-609.
Good evening.
Good
need name and address for the record?
Yes, just name.
Name. Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Eric England. I'm the Executive Director of the Catawba Parish's Port Commission. I was asked today to provide an update on the I-69 service road. So Michael handed out a drawing of the proposed route between the port and I-49. And we also have it pulled up on Google Earth, so if we need to, go into depth and look at individual areas, we can do so. One of the questions that Michael mentioned was the jury is interested in their investment of $2.25 million that has been allocated, and I'll be glad to answer that. I'm going to begin with how we got to this point. Several years ago, I was sitting with the now Secretary of DOTD, Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development, Eric Calavoda, and he informed me that within the segment of independent utility 15 for the I-69 project, that's a lot to, I'll say it again, for the segment of independent utility for I-69, there was some $15 million remaining since the I-69 project studies were finished. And if we didn't spend this $15 million, it would be returned to the federal government. So he stated that to me, and then he asked, is there any way that you, acting as the port, can work with your local governments to raise an approximate $15 million more to come up with what is estimated to be $30 million approximate for the I-69 service road? You got about a week. I said, sure, Dr. Calavoda, we'll go to work. And we did. We approached DeSoto Parish, Caddo Parish, and El Cog. Even Bossier City placed money into the project through an allocation. And we, with those partners, put together some $32.5 million. $15 million is the money that was left over at the federal government, and the remaining was DeSoto Parish at $2.25 million, the port at $2.25 million, COG at $2.25 million, and then we had some other funds that were allocated from Bossier City, bringing us to that $30 million to $50 million. So, where are we? You all have learned about the federal highway process sitting in the chairs that you were in. You learned that you just don't go out and pick a route. You have to go through a study process. You go through a stage 1 and a stage 0, and that's what we've been doing. So up until this point, your $2.25 million has not been needed because the state was able to conduct the stage 0, which is basically a feasibility study. Is it possible for us to build this road? And of course, the answer is yes. Once you finish your stage 0, you move on to your stage 1, which we've done, and then you move on to basically a package that you issue an RFP for right-of-way and design. And that's where we are. In fact, your $2.25 million will be used for the right-of-way and the design, and those items, the proposals for those, will be opened in early October from the state of Louisiana. It's currently, if you will, advertised right now. The State Department of Transportation Development is advertising the right-of-way and design. It's on the internet, and we anticipate that that right-of-way study and the design will take about a year, year and a half, and we estimate that it will consume your $2.25, the port's $2.25, and Caddo Parish's $2.25. The $6.75 million is the estimate. So that's where your $2.25 million is, and that's what it's going to be used for, and that's the approximate timeline for it to be spent. In terms of roadway development timeline, in my 28 years at the port, this is the fastest I've ever seen a roadway move through the stage 0, the stage 1, getting it to these points. If you think about some of the major projects that have been constructed in the area, for us to be sitting here talking about moving on to this stage this early since beginning the process it's very rewarding. It's also very surprising. And I'll tell you why is because we have a staff member allocated to this project, overseeing its swiftness through the process. And that person will remain on the project until it's done. He's a licensed civil engineer. He's very familiar with roadway development involving federal, state, and local funding. Another reason that we are driving this project to move as quickly as possible is the Port Commission has purchased some 2,000 acres in the adjoining area of the I-69 service road. We own 4,000 acres total for industrial development. Think of it this way, just within the last few years, we've acquired those 2,000 more acres. If you look at those 2,000 acres that we've acquired, they saddle the I-69 service road. We recently awarded a $35 million water and sewer contract to provide water from Bossier City to the port. We already receive water from the city of Shreveport, but we're now going to have a dual source from Bossier City. We're spending another $35 million on a railway expansion, which will allow us to receive unit trains. We will be investing in major power lines to this additional 2,000 acres so that we can have these greenfield sites ready for development. The I-69 roadway is another critical piece of infrastructure in addition to those other items that I just mentioned. Before the meeting, Justin Dixon, I know, walked around and introduced and talked with several of you. He and I are partners in economic development, and he and I agreed it'd be good for us both to be here. So if there are any particular questions about how important this I-69 service road is and has been to our marketing efforts of these sites for our communities, how truly it really is. We've made the finalists. In fact, we're in the running for, I would just say, billions of dollars of investment at this point, thousands of employees for the area. And one of the key items that we promote is the connectivity of the I-69 service road. So in conclusion, members, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have, is your money is being used for what we said it would be used for. It will be spent in the next 12 to 18 months, and it's going to result in a connector that will connect DeSoto Parish to the Port of Caddo Bossier. Thank you, members.
Are any questions?
Mr. Eric, so if you have $30 million and 7.5 of it's used for the design and the study, is the 23 that's left over, the 22.5 that's left over, going to be enough to purchase the right of way and build the road? And if not, what's the plan to get the rest of the money?
Right. So the $32.5 million was the full project cost prior to COVID. So what we'll receive from the design, when we're finished with the design, is a new construction estimate. Using that estimate, we can then determine how much of the federal funding we can utilize. You've heard of 200K funds. How much more 200? There's some 10.5 million already allocated for the project with 200K funds, and there's more to apply to it. The Port Commission will bring additional funding to this project. It's too critical. If you just take the $70 million that we're spending on water and sewer and rail, you can see where even if this project cost doubles, it's still, the contribution will be less, but the impact will be how much more than a water line, for example. This is an artery to an interstate.
So we think maybe in the next 5 years we'll have some road down?
I do. I'm counting on it. I don't want to be sitting around for 5 years talking about it. We have land we have land that is marketed, and Justin is out there selling it every day. No, this road will be built.
You said the right-of-way and design is going to take a year to a year and a half.
Yes, sir.
It has begun already, or is it about to begin?
Yeah. Chairman, October 3rd is the date that the RFPs will be opened by DOTD. They were set to open last week. Notably, there was a remarkable interest from engineering groups, which is always a good thing. Oftentimes, in roadway development, you don't get, there's like one or two. What we know is that there has been a tremendous amount of interest, so much so that the decision was made to delay the RFP opening because we see where some companies that may not be fully staffed, we saw where there could be some teaming opportunities. The decision was made to provide those extra couple weeks so that they could work out potential relationships, which of course will mean a better final product for us and frankly a more competitive price just on their services, not necessarily on, we can't control construction at this point. So October 3rd, and we were walking through this afternoon, just making sure I had some dates right. But we would, if they open on October 3rd, given the holidays, scrubbing the RFPs, I would just say those teams would be ready to roll early first quarter 24.
Very good.
Is there any more questions?
I'd be remiss, I apologize. I'd be remiss if I did not mention and say thank you for your contribution to the project. Obviously, I believe it to be a wise investment that's going to return incredible multiples for your constituency. And we look forward to working with you and your continued support.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, president report, none. Council report,
None.
okay, administrative report.
Thank you, Mr. President. All right. Item 1, summer hours for the road department will be changing to 7 a.m. to 3:30 on October 2nd, 2023, due to the changing daylight hours. Y'all are aware this changes every year. I want to give you all those exact dates. Item 2, the road department laydown machine is currently broken down, and there's approximately a 45 to 60-day waiting period on that part. Due to that breakage that we've had in that laydown machine, I've asked the superintendent and the assistant superintendent to contact a contractor who owns a laydown machine in an attempt to get a cost of what it would be. So, and while we're waiting on this piece of machinery to get functioning. Now, before any of y'all ask, we do have a second laydown machine, but I've been told that laydown machine will only function for about 2 to 3 loads, so you can only do very small, short jobs. So the road department cannot focus on large projects with that. They can do very small projects. And mobilization obviously takes some time. So just want to give you all an update on that. The budget meetings are starting this week with each department. If y'all would take a look behind your administrator's report, you'll have a copy of our calendar of events for the budget. This is a tentative schedule. This will take us through the end of the year. It covers all our kickoff meetings with each of our department heads for the budget, and it goes and gives you again tentative dates on budget committee meetings, which we will be getting with the vice president over budget and finance to discuss those meetings whenever we get through all our department heads reports. So I wanted y'all to stay up to date and have that calendar of events. Safety meetings are being held at the road department and the Mundy landfill once a month. We are making sure that the department heads go over all the safety issues that they may have in the road department. We are actively getting all the employees to sign off on these safety meetings to make sure that they are following the guidelines that have been set forth in y'all's policies so many years. Item 5, the EMS board update. I was asked to attend the EMS board meeting last week. The EMS board made me aware that they had one member resign, a Miss Latarsha Shelton, and they need a new person to be appointed by the jury. This appointment will be on the October agenda, so just to give y'all plenty of advance notice on that. As well, they made me aware of several findings in their audit report. You have a copy of the findings in the audit report. Part of the findings are they're having some issues with members not showing up at the meetings, and they have asked the jury, please take action on these absentee members who are not showing up. move forward with appointing someone else in their place. That process is going to require the jury to hold a public meeting to remove someone if they're not attending those EMS board meetings. As well, there was some ethics violation by some of the EMS board members. I've attached everything in your packet, so if y'all want to review that. But if you're going to take action on removing a member, you have to have a public meeting to remove it. And I know Jennifer McCann, I've discussed that. She can give you more information, or I can get y'all more information on that after the meeting if y'all would like. Term limit information. Y'all have an item on the agenda tonight regarding term limits. Political subdivisions in the state of Louisiana can only place a proposition on the ballot where there is a statutory authority to call such an election. RS 33-1221 provides for the election of police jurors, but contains no language pertaining to an election to term limit police jurors. See the attachment I've provided y'all, the legislation for that. Lincoln Parish had special legislation enacted by the legislature which authorizes term limits subject to a vote of the public. Also see attached that document I've given y'all where they did that in 1991. If the police jury wishes to move forward, we will need to contact our legislators to see if they would sponsor the necessary legislation. So whomever is going to be our representative, we're going to need to move forward with that. So it's my recommendation that the item that y'all have on the agenda tonight, y'all need to restate that or rename that and to the effect of authorize the administrator or the president or the legal counsel to work with our legislators to provide some legislation to enact term limits, and that will be at the next legislative session. So the earliest that y'all could call a session, if that got through the legislative process, would probably be this time next year. So I just want to give you all that information. You have all the enabling legislation attached to this, which are the statutory citations for calling those elections and what our authority is as a parish governing body. Burn ban update. I know I and some of you have received calls about the current statewide burn ban. The State Fire Marshal's office have told me that as of Friday of last week, the statewide burn ban mandate is still in effect. The state's fire marshal will reevaluate the mandate this week and inform us after their evaluation as to the status of the statewide burn ban. That is subject to a weekly evaluation, which is out of our hands. So even though the parish passed a burn ban in DeSoto Parish, if we were to reverse it, we still could not prevent people from, or we could not authorize burning in the parish until the state, they rescind that. George Hunt and Sam Booker roads will be improved by Chesapeake within the next 2 weeks. I had a meeting with them this morning. They'll be coordinating with our road department on road closures for those two roads. There is quite a bit of damage. I know some of you jurors are very well aware of that, and I have been after them for the past 6 months, specifically about George Hunt. Their issue has been finding an asphalt laydown crew. They've been very upfront with me about that from the beginning. They have tried getting an asphalt laydown crew to do this work. I asked them, this is y'all's responsibility per our road use permit. It is on y'all to repair this road and bring it back to its original state, and that's what they have guaranteed that they're going to do, both for George Hunt and Sam Booker. So I wanted y'all to be aware of that. Lastly, the 5-year capital outlay grant program. Y'all have tonight in your packet, you're going to have 2 lists. You have the master list and you have the 5-year capital list. I just want to bring it to your attention. If y'all could pick a couple more roads to go on our 5-year, and please allow us to adopt that tonight. That will give us enough time to fill out our application with the state. That is due November 1st. Last year we scrambled to get that in. I'd like to be able to not scramble, and in order for us not to scramble getting that in quickly, we would need to have that adopted tonight. So if the jury would take action on that and not defer this again if we can, if you can help it, if we can help not to defer it. So, and that's my report, Mr. President. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Lobbyist report.
The lobbyist was not able to make it here tonight. He had a death in his family.
Okay.
His report's attached for y'all's review.
All right, thank you. Sorry to hear that. Okay, Treasurer, financial report. Accept the finance statement as of August 31st, 2023, and year-to-date budget to actual report.
Okay, y'all should all had received the financials for the month of August. Our revenues for the general fund are at 107%. The overall excess is coming from the severance tax, license and permits, royalties, and investment earnings. And you will see on your financials now a section with those investment earnings. If y'all remember or recall back, the auditors, we had a finding on those investment earnings because that was one entry done at the end of the year, so we're making that monthly entries on that, so you're seeing that reflection now on your financials. And of course, there was no budget that was created last year, since I overlooked that as far as that being on the budget itself. The expenditures on the general fund, they're about 64% over the whole fund, which is about 2% below the budget. The over budget line items include the investment fees, some of the travel line items. We have professional fees and travel for the DA. That's due to the Brian Horn trial expenses. Your election expense under the register of voters, that was a big hit on the March election, I believe. So, and we're gonna be way over too with the October election coming up. That's kind of a hard expense to budget for. Other line items, we have the maintenance of property, the small equipments under administration. It's over budget. However, I want to point out that we have ARPA carryovers that we didn't spend last year, so we need to adjust the budget to determine that. And then we have been over budget on the 4-H building. We've been doing a lot of repairs on that, so you see those line items has over budget, but the overall fund itself is actually under budget. On the road fund, the revenues are about 7% above projections. The majority is due to the sales tax. Like I stated in previous meetings, there's a surplus of that. Currently, it's 1.7 million. However, we have already obligated $400,000 to the Cook Creek project, and there's an item for tonight's agenda to amend the budget for $610 for the last 4 roads that we put out to bid. Overall expense on that is at 41%. Where we have some over budget expenses is on the materials and supplies. And I can tell you right now, the bridge material, most likely we will need a budget amendment increase in that. The jail fund, sales tax is over 27% over revenue projections. That's roughly about $342,000, while the expenses are at 28 below projections. Solid waste has a surplus of about 514 coming from sales tax contributions, and also our tipping fees are about 7% above projections, and our investment earnings are doing good. The total fund expenses are down by 26%. A lot of that has to do with the land marketing fees being way off now due to the recent contract negotiation. Line items over budget on that specific fund, it's our supplies, our uniforms, and some office expense. Our criminal court fund has a fund balance of $81,000, so we're staying afloat on that where we have revenues and expenses covering that. The OCS deficiency that I reported last month, that is taken care of as of August. We have a balance on the fund of $13,000. However, I just want to point out, last year at budget season, we went ahead and not did the yearly transfer that was normally done of $160,000. So I want to bring up that at the end of this year, we may end up having to transfer money because of the reimbursements, how they're coming in, about, lagging 2 months or so. And there is some stuff that is not covered by our programs. So I just wanted to give you a heads up, but that in itself, that deficiency has been solved for August right now. The airport revenues are at 24%, while the expenses are at 29%. ARPA fund, I have not done the transfer for the expenditures on all the allocations that have been approved. I will be doing that as of September, so I can have budget numbers done for budget season. But currently, the ARPA fund, most of the funds are already obligated and allocated. So the only thing for next year we'll be looking at is probably just interest. And then we received $100,000 for our local assistance. That is all part of ARPA. Animal services is 95% in revenues, while the expenses are at 61%. And overall, the month of August was good. We're all staying within budget. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions? Well, no. Thank you, Ms. Garcia.
So moved.
I got a motion by Mr. Kennedy,
Second.
a second by Mr. Baker. Discussion? No discussion, please vote. Motion passes. Approval of minutes. Motion to approve August 21st, 2023 regular meeting minutes, September the 5th, 2023 public hearing, administrative, budget and finance, road, building properties, solid waste, policies, procedure, committee meeting minutes.
So move with all necessary corrections.
I have a motion from Mr. Richard Fuller.
Second.
I second Ms. Mitchell. Discussion? There are no discussion. Would you please vote? Motion passes. Item number 5, recommend appointing one member of the DeSoto Parish Planning Commission serving the remaining term of Mr. Michael Royster. Any-
Make a nomination.
Yes, ma'am.
I nominate Betty Carter.
A second.
Okay, we have,
You can't do that. Can't be nominated again.
What?
She failed last time. Failed last time.
actually, it was 5 to 5.
The five
She
you
actually
could bring
should've
up
won.
again.
Okay, you have another name?
Put Johnny Jones back up on there.
Y'all,
All
nah.
right, well, hold up, Ms. Burrell, hold up. Miss Betty Carter, Johnny Jones.
Point of order.
Yes, sir.
I think we need our legal counsel to tell us if we can do that or not.
Okay.
Because a tie vote means a failed vote. And if you fail, you can't be brought up by 90 days according to the jury's long-standing bylaws.
Excuse me, that wasn't
Okay, well,
fair.
all of them failed, the Johnny.
So
Jones,
all three candidates can't be brought up for 90 days if you hold true to what we've always done in the past. But I'm not the lawyer. That's why I'm.
Right.
Can we wait till our attorney step back in?
Yes, we will.
So we even discussed
Mr.
that
Kay?
last week, Mr. President. Mr. President, we discussed that last week that the names could be brought back up. But not last week.
I thought we agreed that.
Yeah.
we would,
That those names could be brought
according
back
to the
up.
law.
Well, put Jimbo Daglin back on there. We're gonna do all three of them, we'll do all three of them.
Okay. Well, we'll get a legal counsel.
Where'd she go?
I
Mr.
hear,
Donner
it.
gone.
I hear it coming.
Legal counsel, the questions on the table is, the names that failed last meeting, are they able to go back on roster?
I don't, according to your bylaws, I don't believe so. I think that any failed item cannot be placed back onto the agenda within is it 90-day time period? So no, I don't believe so.
That's our bylaws, so it is.
That's bylaws.
That's bylaws, let's move it.
Well, okay, do anybody have any other names?
I have one.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
That wasn't a regular meeting, so it doesn't, that's not a.
Can't say anything.
That was a committee meeting. That applies to regular meetings.
No,
Yeah, we
it
have-
also applies to committee.
Right, bylaws.
If you read the
Mr. President,
bylaws,
he's
it's
not
a
in our
committee or
Yeah,
regular
right.
meeting.
That's not official meeting.
Okay, Mr.
That's
Baker,
what the bylaws say.
what name you had, Mr. Jones?
Dexter Fuller.
Dexter
Dexter Fuller.
Fuller.
I'm nominating Kyle Kennington.
Okay, got Mr. Kyle.
Excuse me, but that would be a conflict of interest. We can't keep, look, this what we doing with this commission, this is where I had the problem with it. We keep putting these developers, for one, these people that build houses is making the decision who can build them, and everybody not getting a fair chance. We need to quit doing crooked, y'all. And that's just the truth about it. Mr. Kennington is one of the very ones that finances some of these very houses that this planning commission gonna have to build. No, sir, I'm not going for that. No, sir, we done did enough of that. We got too many people on this committee right now that shouldn't be here. For a matter of fact, I'm getting ready to file something with the active board, cause this shouldn't be, and we done let it go on long enough. I try not to say nothing, y'all, but y'all always, Miss Bell, yeah, cause we keep on doing it over and over. We know it's wrong, and do it anyway.
Okay, we gonna, any other names? We're gonna withdraw Mr. Kyle.
Cause he's a juror.
Right, I don't
He's a
believe-
sitting juror now, so he can't.
Well,
appointed to
and
anything.
for the record, I didn't ask to be nominated. I actually told Mr. Holmes last week not to nominate me, so.
Okay, sure.
Because I don't know if that's a conflict of interest, and before I would agree to do anything, I would check that out anyway.
Could we make an alternate motion?
We got
We got some names, you got another name?
No, I wanna do an alternate motion though.
Yeah, you could do anything you wanna do.
I move that we, wait 90 days so we can submit the names we had at first. Now, how about that?
That's it.
You'll be eligible in 90 days, won't you?
That's it. 90 days, Mr. Kennington will be wide open.
Wait, let me,
It ain't gonna change the
Rabbit got
fact,
the gun
Mr.
now, huh?
It don't change the fact that he financing these houses. What
Okay.
fact do it change?
Hold on, Ms. Barrett, we got something from legal.
yeah, I wanna, here's the exact rule. Any matter which has been disapproved by a vote of the committee members shall not be reconsidered by the committee for a period of 3 months unless the entire membership of the jury by a 2/3 vote approves the reconsideration of the matter. So you as a jury, if 2/3 of you voted to reconsider the names prior rejected by the committee members 2 weeks ago, you could reconsider it. But it takes 2/3 vote of the jury.
Where's that?
Majority.
Rule 5,
Very good.
under Article 10.
Okay, so,
I second her motion.
okay, we got alternate motion on the floor. I got a motion, I got a second. We're gonna vote on the alternate motion, Ms.
State
Ziegler.
alternate motion again? What was the alternate motion?
To wait 90
No,
days.
90 days.
We get 2/3 vote to vote on tonight.
I don't know if you can bring an alter to the alternate.
No,
You have to vote on her motion
Right.
first, and then if it passes, it passes. If it fails, then other motions can be made on the issue.
Oh, okay.
Or two, just gotta have a four.
And the alternate motion is to recommend to defer the meeting for 90 days. So we're clear.
Come on, man. Come on.
Failed again.
What's the matter, Richard?
Oh, I'm sorry, hold on. No, I didn't mean to abstain, please erase that.
How do you want to vote, Mr.
I voted, for the 90 days, because I made the second, so the button was wrong. No.
You must have it upside
You say
down
yes?
or something, man.
Yes.
It ain't-
That ain't what you pushed. You must have it
Push
upside
abstain.
down.
Put that upside down, man.
Yes.
Well,
Had it upside
I had it
down.
upside down.
well, if Richard vote yes, well, motion passes.
We just tried.
Look at there, Richard. You had it upside down.
That's why I was
Who abstained?
I was like, wait a minute.
Well, that's that. Motion passes.
Looking at me like,
Number 6, recommend appointing 2 members of the Bayou Pierre Fishing and Game Commission. I'm gonna defer that, unless anybody else has some names. I reached out to a couple of people, they wasn't interested, so we need more time.
Make a motion.
Yeah,
Make a motion, you can't just defer.
right. Just, I wanna do number 6 and 7, I'll make a motion. If anyone have any names, we don't have any names presented.
Yeah,
I'll second that with Ms. Burrell.
Okay, I made the motion. Got a second by Mr. Rowe, Ms. Burrell. Discussion.
Mr. President,
How-
if you would,
You want to reset it?
you want to do, you going, Mr. Dwayne?
So-
Huh?
Was you going, someone, I thought I interrupted someone.
Oh, no, sir.
But, if you would, could you get, the duties of these, committees? You know, give us a good idea
Some
of what
literature.
their duties are, and then we probably, you know, come up with, people who probably serve in their capacity better.
Okay, and I'd like to defer that to next month meeting.
You want to defer both those items to next month?
Yes, sir.
And we need you want a list of the duties for the members?
Right.
For the Bayou Khmer, and the Northwest Louisiana Human Service?
6
Right.
and 7.
Right.
They got a new agenda.
We added the lobbyist report.
It's the agenda on your booklet, 6 and 7. There's no more discussion, would you please vote? Motion passes. New business. Authorize the E911 naming of Mahoney Private Drive located off Starkey Road.
I so moved.
I got a motion by Mr. Rowe. Who second?
I'll
Mr.
second.
Mr. Baker second.
And that's in your district.
Yeah,
Side of the road.
right.
what we doing now? Recommend.
This is for 911.
From
name of-
private drive to a road.
No. This is for 911 to name Mahoney Private Drive located off Starkey Road.
Oh, off Starkey Road, okay. I got you.
Any more discussion? If none, please vote. Motion passes. Resolution, recommend authorizing the president to sign a legal service agreements in resolution with Ron Micheto LLC for the possible claim against 3M, possibility claim against 3M regarding the contamination of water supply in the parish. I make the motion.
Second.
I got a second by Ms. Burrell and Ms. Bard. Discussion. There's no discussion. Would you please vote? none remaining. Okay, motion passes. Item 10, recommend to authorize the president to sign a resolution granting approval to International Paper for the installation of crossing of a new water line through Clear Lake and Smithport Lake.
So move.
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion by Mr.
Second.
Richards, seconded by Mr. Holmes. Discussion?
Mr. President, have all the, property owners been notified that particular line is gonna cross through their property?
Yes, sir, I'm assuming they have to do that before the.
I'm not really sure because I think, I was over at my brother's home, one day last week. And it seemed like I see a new line, where someone is gonna put a new line going behind his house, which is his property. And I don't think he's been notified because he's been in the hospital, been sick.
Okay. Well, that'll be a question we'll have to ask, the International Paper Company.
Right, or the,
Mr. Parker?
I understand that they already have a line, existing line now.
Sir.
And that they're gonna lay this new line on that same right-of-way?
I don't have the details.
That's what
What they said
that's
earlier.
what you got the,
So if they already own a right-of-way, do they have to get permission?
Well,
sometimes they do.
Legal counsel question, I guess.
yeah.
If their lease only specifies one line, then they'll have to rebuy the right of way. I do it every day.
Well, I don't know the specifics on their lease or anything, right-of-way agreement.
The DA himself reviewed this resolution to approve it. Although I don't know that I have a technical conflict, my son-in-law is an engineer with International Paper who deals directly with water supplies to the plant. So I told him that I didn't want to be involved in making any legal recommendations to the body of the police jury or reviewing that document for that reason. So he himself reviewed it and approved it. And I just declined to be involved in it for the reasons that I just stated. So, I'm sorry I didn't, have any more information for you. I just passed it on to him once I realized it was an IP water supply issue.
Is there a time frame that you need to know this?
Is there a time frame, Mr. Michael?
Not that I'm aware of. From what I understand, and IP's reported, they're gonna still be responsible for contacting the landowners and acquiring any right-of-ways if they don't already have the right-of-ways. That's on IP. This is just a resolution from the parish governing authority to authorize them to move forward with that process. Yes, sir.
Actually, we're not giving them authority to move forward with the line. We're just giving them authority to cross under Clear Lake, Smithport Lake, which is the only portion of the line that even affects this jury. The rest of the negotiations would be up to IP and the landowners.
Right. We're out of
All we're
all.
doing is actually giving them authority to go under the lake or through the lake. That's the only authority we have.
Right.
We don't have any authority to tell them to go over anybody's property. They'll have to negotiate that themselves.
Yep.
The Game and Fish Commission's already approved this.
Yes, sir.
Is there any more discussion? No. Please vote. Motion passes. Item 11, recommend authorizing president to execute a resolution authority for filing an application with the Louisiana DOTD for a grant for 49 CFR 5311, formerly grant for the rural areas in 49 CFR 5339, grant for buses and bus facility program, Council on Aging.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Fuller, second by Mr. Rowe. Discussion? There's no discussion. Would you please vote? Motion passes. No ordinance, administrative item.
All right, administrative items. Recommends approving the president sign an agreement with the DeSoto Parish Tax Commission for the hotel motel tax.
So move.
Got a motion by Mr. Jones,
Second.
second by Mr. Parker. Discussion? There's no discussion. Would you please vote? Motion passes.
Item number 13 recommends placing on the ballot for the public to vote on for the DeSoto Parish Police Jury to be able to serve 3 consecutive terms maximum with no restrictions to run again after 1 full term out of office.
I do want to add that, in addition to the statutory authority that the administrator put in his report, he did also contact your legal counsel as well that handles your elections specifically. And it was their opinion as well that you would need special legislative authority to place this item on the ballot. I don't believe he mentioned that in his report.
I think you did.
I'll make an alternate motion.
He did?
Yeah, he
Well,
did.
then I missed it.
I'll make a motion that we
Mr. Holmes?
have the president send a notice to our representatives to have them place, get permission for us to place it on the ballot.
Okay, Mr. Fuller had his hand up first.
Okay.
Recognize him.
Thank you, Mr. My concern was, this shouldn't have been on the agenda from the beginning. Because I called for the question. May I read something to you? It says, this is talking about, when you're calling for the question.
What,
It says, when you call the question, in the U.S. parliamentary procedure, the previous question, also known as calling for the question closes debate, calling for a vote, vote now, and other similar forms. In general, it was generally used as a motion to the end debate and pretending proposal to bring it to an immediate vote. So when I called for the question, this is the second time it has happened to me.
Yeah, I understand.
Let me finish,
Okay.
because I need to get this out now. I try to respect every juror on this thing, but don't take my kindness for a weakness. Like I said, I called for the question. This is the second time this happened to me. I called for the question, and somebody else was allowed to make another vote or make an alternate motion. If we're gonna go by our procedures, we need to go by our procedures. You just went with the 30 days, and everybody around this table know when you call for the question, that ends discussion and debate, you vote. So this shouldn't even have been on the agenda from the beginning. I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You're 100% right. But you have to be recognized for, it's in our bylaws.
Mr. Can I say that? I done heard, I don't know how many people on this jury called for the question. And they went straight to the vote. So don't feel me that we gotta be recognized with all due respect.
Yeah.
We don't have to be recognized to call for the question. So please don't feed me that. There's been too many people on this jury that called for the question, and they weren't recognized, they got the question. So please don't feed me that one.
Well, it's in our bylaws, that's the correct way to do it.
Okay, well, again, I called for the question loud and clear before Mr. Baker made his motion. So actually, Mr. Holmes, I'm quite sure he heard me. He hear everything else over there. I'm quite sure he heard me.
I don't know.
So when I call for the question, recognize me.
Yeah,
Don't
just
take-
make sure the chairperson
Okay, I just
recognizes.
want to share.
All right, Mr. Fuller.
All right, Mr. Holmes, you had an alternate motion on the floor, didn't you?
Yeah, I made an alternate motion that we have the president get in touch with or send notice to our legislators to see if one would sponsor a bill, give us permission to have an election on this item.
Okay, do you have a second?
I second.
Mr. Parker, second.
Question,
Ma'am?
you
Go ahead.
for question?
Yeah, question.
Well,
Discussion.
mine more than just a question, it's a comment. I left the last meeting. First of all, I wanna know where this came from. And why all of a sudden we wanna do this. That's my second thing, cause to me, you really taking the rights of the vote, you taking the voter's voice when you do that. it's one thing about Jerry Red, and even if I wasn't sitting in this seat, I had a police jury and they wasn't doing their job, guess what? See you. We gonna get rid of them in my district, and that's how we vote. I mean, don't take the people's voice, cause to me that's really taking the people's voice. Now I'm just giving to y'all real how I feel about it. Now everybody know you. We went the whole year saying, oh, this Stonewall and it grew. So we knew Stonewall got enough people to get this passed if we do that. So that means they taking away district, everything past Kickapoo. You take their rights away. And then we do this term thing. These people need to have the right to vote however they want to vote.
That's right, for who they wanna vote.
And who they want to vote for. And talking about mimicking the school board, we need to be checking on the school board stuff, because the school board did some stuff that wasn't just theyself. That's probably going to come back up. So we aren't supposed to be mimicking the school board, and the law tell you that. The school board's supposed to mimic us. The school board's district change, all that shouldn't have never been done before this police jury did yet. That's what I'm telling y'all. We started doing stuff we know wrong, and we do it anyhow. But that was done on purpose. The school board did their lines before us on purpose. And that's gonna come back around. I'm telling y'all now, I'm telling you. It is.
So you're saying it's wrong, you're talking about it's illegal, you figure it's illegal?
They were never supposed to draw their lines
Talking
before the
about for
police
us,
jury.
for us to do this.
Who? I ain't never said it's legal. I said how I feel about it. I ain't never said
It's
whether it was
wrong,
legal.
I was just wondering if you
I
meant.
say it's wrong as far as I'm concerned. In my opinion, it's wrong.
All right,
Mr. Holmes,
thank you, Miss Burrell.
you welcome.
Thank you.
I got a statement to make. I mean, I attended some forums, and I haven't talked to everybody in my district. I'm not gonna stay here and tell you that I have. But their statement to me was, when we get tired of you, we're gonna vote you out. It may be this term that they vote me out.
That's me too, that's it.
But I feel like the DeSoto Parish Police Jury was targeted in these forums. Nobody, no other candidates other than the police jurors were asked this question. No other candidates in no other office held in this parish. They weren't asked that question. I feel like we were targeted, the police jury. I feel like we were targeted.
That's right.
I mean, if you're gonna target the police jury, target every other office in the parish.
Thank you.
You know, it's not, I don't mind the question being asked to me, and I answered, I'm not opposed to it. But I will not vote for this.
Any more discussion?
You know, fair is fair.
Please vote. Motion fail.
Item number 14, recommends authorizing participation.
No.
No, it failed.
No?
Yes, it does.
It goes back to the original motion.
You're
but
right.
I don't-
Or something has to be made since,
The original motion is the ballot, for us to put it on the ballot, and we can't
can't
put
do
it on
that.
the
Cannot
ballot.
do that.
well, then
So
there
that's-
still has to be a motion made to get rid of this. You can't just move on.
Well, they made out in the motion.
And the alternate motion failed, so you go back to the original
You
one.
have to go back and vote on the original motion.
It's just Robert's Rules of Order. But I mean, clearly the original motion on here that Mr. Baker made can't be done. It's been pointed out. So somebody has to make a motion to strike it, to delay it, to change it, to,
I think, I make a motion, I make a motion, we delete it. We can't vote on something that we can't do.
Right. Second.
Which one are we doing?
The
Item
original.
number 13, delete.
Rescind, okay.
Remove item number 13. Okay. So now we finna vote on that to delete it, right?
Yeah, you have
Yes.
to, 'cause you can't do it that way.
Thank you for coming.
Do I have a second?
What are y'all doing, trying to get the original motion?
So wait a minute.
I second it, delete it. Send it, delete it, whatever you want to do. Get rid of this crap.
Correct.
Okay, we have a motion
To,
to remove item 13 from the agenda.
okay.
Can't vote yet.
Oh, I can't.
I'm sorry.
She gonna
I
vote.
was getting ahead of myself.
How she gonna vote?
I hear what they do.
That's the first time you ever got ahead of yourself.
I hear what they do.
We have 3 remaining.
We're voting to delete it, right?
Right, right,
We're voting to get it out of here, right?
right.
No, actually, you're voting for term limits.
Miss Trina, I voted before you put it up there. You probably voted before I got it up there.
Oh, okay, well, there my yes
Yeah,
vote.
thank
You
you.
don't know what you're voting for now, do you, Mr. Johnson?
Motion passes. You seen his eyes, huh?
All right, can we go to item 14 now?
Yes, sir.
Item number 14, recommends authorizing participation by staff and jurors in the Northwest Louisiana Veterans Day Week, beginning November the 6th, 2023 through November 12th, 2023 at the Louisiana State Fairgrounds.
So move.
Second.
Second.
I got a mover by Mr. Richard Fuller, seconded by Mrs. Trina Boyd. Any discussion?
Can I make, what they also do is, like I say, they dress up a vehicle, one of the parish vehicles. And so, with American flag and different stuff, so I
Yeah.
just, one of the vehicles would be involved, so I would just let you know.
Okay,
Y'all ready?
yes. And that's with Mr., over that program.
Ken
Ken
Epperson.
Anderson.
Commissioner.
Apperson. Please vote.
Mr. Baker,
Baker this time.
Motion passes.
At item number 15, recommends approving application for the Love's Truck Stop liquor license.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Rowe made the motion, I second it. Discussion,
This up, we
Please.
all gonna need to go by now.
please vote. Motion passes.
Item number 16, recommends authorizing the president to sign the grant application for the fiscal year 2023, the 2024 CWEF grant. That's North DeSoto Water System.
Second.
Mr. Kennedy made the motion, got a second by Mr. Baker. Discussion. There's no discussion, please vote. Two remaining.
Mr. Rennell and Miss Jerry.
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you. I was thinking, thank you.
That's unusual for me, man.
Motion passes.
All right, recommends authorizing the president to sign the 2024 through 2025 LCDBG grant application with the DeSoto Parish Police Jury, paying administrative and engineering fees.
So moved.
Mr. Jones made the motion,
Second.
second by Mr. Baker.
Can they let-
Discussion.
Yeah. What's that right?
Mr. Mike.
Tell me what that is now.
The LCDBG grant, it's for grant money for parks or anything else that we have right now.
Okay.
No question.
Yes, ma'am.
Says paying administrative and engineering fees. We have a grant, the application, so we explain that last part of it. We're paying,
I think it's some upfront money.
Yes, yes, we would be required to pay. I think that's a condition of that grant. You'd have to you have to pay for if there's any administrative fees or any engineering fees.
Okay, just
ma'am.
trying to,
Which is usually around $6,000.
okay. I was gonna ask the next question, how much do we have to pay?
Also, that gives you extra points on the process. If you have that engineering done up front, or you pay for that up front, it'll give you extra points in that process, help you qualify a little bit higher as well.
Okay,
For the next one.
all right. We gotta pay for that. How much is that?
3 remaining.
Mr. Baker, Mr. Rowe, and Mr. Ford.
Oh, Mr. Baker.
You got that one.
6,000.
Mr. Fuller.
And Ms. Burrell.
Yeah, Ms.
Oh, I thought I mashed my button. I did, I'm like Mr. Baker now, my button ain't
Motion
working.
passes.
Item number 18, recommends authorizing the administrator to sign an agreement with DeSoto Regional Health Systems to provide health care for the operations at the DeSoto Parish Detention Center.
So move.
Second.
I got a motion by Mr. Richards, second by Mrs. Trina Boyd. Discussion. There's no discussion, please vote.
Next question, when does that contract start? When does that, I mean, is it rolling over or
When does that,
this part?
that
is,
contract only came up because the physician who was over there is no longer there. We had to get another physician. So it'll run annually, yes, sir.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Motion passes. Budget and finance.
Budget and Finance recommends authorizing the treasurer to sign an application with U.S. Bank Voyager for a fleet card fuel program.
I so moved.
I got a move by Mr. Mitchell.
Second.
Second by Mr. Jones. Discussion.
Mr. President, I'll be abstaining for the same reasons I mentioned in the committee meeting.
Yes, sir, thank you. There's no more question, please vote.
I was just asking a question about how many cards can it be?
Oh. You got it answered?
Sir?
You got it answered?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Oh,
Thank you.
sorry. Going on to the next item.
Motion passes. Building and properties.
Building and Properties recommends authorizing the DeSoto Parish Tourist Commission to place signage on the courthouse grounds.
So move.
Motion by Mr.
Mr.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Go
President.
ahead.
Kind of
Mr.
sign.
Kennington, made the motion, a second by Mr. Rowe.
What kind of sign
Discussion.
you doing?
Advertising the parish, I
There's a
think.
picture in your packet.
Right, there's a picture in your
I
packet.
didn't- That's why I'm asking, I missed that, I didn't see that in mine.
It's just a little 3 or 4 sided, like what you see outside of a historical building on a little,
I ain't got no problem with it, I just didn't know who they, you know.
There's no more discussion, please vote.
Mr. Baker.
I'm pushing the button.
You got
Yeah, he pushed
You
it.
did it before.
Good, Mr. Baker.
Motion passes.
Fixing to throw
I-
this at you.
Item 22 recommends authorizing the president to sign an agreement with Johnson Crows Fire Protection LP for 3-year service solution for fire sprinkler inspection at various jury-owned businesses.
So moved.
I got a motion by Mr. Rowe.
second.
Second, who second?
I did.
Oh, Mr. Kennington second. Discussion? There's no discussion, please vote. Motion passes.
Item 23 recommends authorizing the president to sign the 2023-2024 LAGAP grant application for improvements at the Dave B. Means 4-H building.
Make a motion.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Holmes, second by Mr. Kennington. Discussion?
Yes, sir. Oh. That's the grant writer right there. If you wanted to do I wanted to propose some kind of grant, how would I do? Just come to you and, Come to you, Brian.
Well, yes, ma'am, but it really needs to go through the jury as a whole to get one approved, but yes, ma'am, I can start researching.
I mean, cause, I got some constituents, some I just adopted. And it's a problem with some water line. I mean, these people need to get to some water, the main water system. I got one right up this road. She ain't a half a mile from where our water system is up here at this airport. And, these folks' wells is no good anymore. And I wanted to see, can we apply for some kind of grants we can help these people with?
You know what water district they're on?
One of them gonna be, well, both of these gonna be Grand Cane. These gonna be people in Grand Cane that, need the help. Mr. Bagley had called me concerning one of them, and he had said that he was gonna see what he could do about helping them, because we got people out here, it's our job as jury to help these people get to the main water lines and stuff, and they need help. So I wanted to know if we could apply for some kind of grants, or get with Mr. Bagley, or somebody to see what grants out there we can apply for.
All right. We have 3 remaining. Motion passes. Policies and procedure.
Recommends adopting a policy for all parish-owned vehicles to carry fire extinguishers at all times.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mrs. Trina Bard,
Second.
second by Mr. Holmes. Discussion.
Yes, y'all, it was not in your original packet because we didn't get the policy done in time, but y'all should have a copy on your desk. It's a one-page, very simple policy to go along with that fire extinguisher request.
Yeah, question before you go to here.
Go ahead.
Now, we're not requiring the people to go put no fire out now.
No, sir.
Okay, just wanna make sure. We don't be liable for none of that.
But then you don't want them to come up on a fire and you got a fire extinguisher. You don't want to use it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I had a vehicle caught on fire and a man came and put it, I was mad at him, seriously. 'Cause I had so much trouble out there choking, I just want to let it burn. Just being
It was
honest
on
with you.
fire, man. Come
He
on.
put it out and I was mad.
It was on.
Had to been a fool.
It's on fire, man.
So I don't want our employees to be in that kind of situation.
Thank you for that, Mr. Rich.
No, man. Come on.
Mr. Fuller.
Yeah. I see your car on fire, man.
Let me put the other part why I said that. Because I had a car caught on fire, and I put it out, and they said that it didn't catch on fire. So I said never again when I put one out. So that's why that happened, y'all. So let me vote now. Thank you.
We have evidence. Motion passes.
Let it burn to the crisp.
Yeah. I'm having a problem with you. My car catch on fire. You got extinguisher in your car, and you just stand up there looking at them.
No,
I'm having a
I don't
problem
have
with
a fire
you, man.
extinguisher in there, but like I said, you know, if I can put it out, I'm gonna put it out.
Okay, road items.
Recommend amending the road budget to extend Constitution Road and unpaved Rock Road, $20,000. That's Miss Burrell's district.
So move.
I have a motion made by Mr. Jones,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Burrell,
Mr. Fuller.
and Mr. Fuller, and Ms. Ball.
I just want to say this, Mr. President. This particular road, y'all, I'm just really telling the truth. Cause see, these folks in good faith, and Mr. Kendall, I want to check, cause you asked the question about, did we say it in the, no, we didn't. It was an even trade. I mean, they gave a trade for it. The sheriff department wanted to build a firing range, so he gave up his property. He gave up his property to do something. We hauled all kind of dirt in there to make it happen for the sheriff department. But then we gonna come back and deny this man a straight path to do him a trailer park? That just don't seem logical to me. I mean, come on. I mean, when we asked him for something, he didn't spit the word. He did. And I feel real bad if I was him. I would. That we'll deny him that access to a place for a business that gonna bring us revenue.
Okay, any more discussion? We got Mr. Parker?
I think every juryman in here, and ladies too, have roads that they can't get fixed. But we want to add to a road that we don't need because he's already got 2 paved roads that touch his property now. We don't need to spend money on extending the road when we can't fix the roads we already have.
Mr. Parker, we then up there going to your son place, I see RVs over there, we fixed that.
Do what, Miss Burrell?
Where your son got, whatever that is he got up there with the motorcycles or whatever. I specifically remember when I first become a jury, I fixed that up to his place. But you want to deny this
No,
man,
ma'am.
Mr. Parker?
Wait a minute, Miss Burrell. You didn't fix it up to his place, you fixed it all the way through.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I fixed it up to where
believe they
Gillum
paved that
Lane
whole
started,
road all the
and
way
then
through
I
there.
came back and did Gillum Lane. But I did do that part for real, Mr. And that ain't fair.
Okay, we got 5 remaining. Motion passes.
I was about to call for question, Mr. Fuller.
I made that, I turned it right over.
Recommend authorizing the president to sign a change order number 2 in the amount of $18,708.44 for drainage improvement on Powell Road using the ARCA funds, Mr. Kenniston's district, his funds.
That's a move.
Second.
Mr. Kennedy made the motion?
No, Mr. Dwayne Mitchell made the motion.
I was going to, but
I'll yield to you.
Okay, Mr. Mitchell made the motion, Mr.
No,
Kennedy?
Mr.
second.
Kennington made the motion.
Okay, Mr. Kennedy
It
made the
doesn't
motion.
matter.
Be quick
Mr.
on that,
Mitchell
man.
second. Discussion. Please vote.
Mr. Michael, Engineer Michael, I did ride that last evening. We need to get our contractors to finish it.
Yes, sir, we're waiting on the final dressing, get a little moisture in the ground, and hopefully get some seed to sprout and get that dressed up out there. But
They're not too fond of those cones on the curb.
we didn't wanna do our final dressing and seeding while it was so dry.
If those cones will get a road fixed, bring them over to my district.
You got the same amount of ARPA money.
2 remaining.
I got a lot worse roads.
Mr.
Holmes.
Mr. Holmes and Mr. Fuller.
I don't vote on the comments. Y'all need to put some barriers in this clicker.
I'm gonna take them all up today, I promise.
Thank you.
Motion passes.
Recommend authorizing the president to sign a corporate endeavor agreement with the village of South Mansfield for roads and drainage improvement on Cape Cow Porter Road. Money approved in the budget.
So moved.
Got it. Ms. Burrell made the motion. Mrs. Boyd, second. Discussion. Please vote. Motion passes.
Recommend approving the roads for the capital outlay grant continue with the 5-year road plan.
Do I have a motion?
So move.
Got a motion, Mr. Jones?
Second.
Second by Ms. Boyd, Mr. Parker.
Oh, Mr.
Discussion.
Didn't you say something about adding some roads to that? If we'll make them, do I need to make an alternate motion?
No, y'all, I mean, you can open the motion as is, and then y'all need to give us direction on which roads y'all want to add,
Okay.
using the master list. Y'all have 3 lists in here. There's a master list, which is, you have highlighted sections, orange and yellow and white. The white sections are the roads that we did not put in the capital outlay program last year. The second list, which is labeled your 5-year capital outlay 2022 submission, is The two roads that are highlighted yellow are gonna be where we're spending the 1.6 million that we got in cash this year, and the others are already on the 5-year capital outlay plans. There's no need to add those again.
Mr. President, Mr. Administrator, I'm gonna leave mine on there that I mentioned at committee meeting, that taking it off.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave it on there, but Mr. Phillip, I'm gonna remove it from my ARPA money, and I'll get with you later and tell you where that needs to go, since you can't do it for 60 days anyway.
Okay, yes, sir.
Makes sense?
Yes, yes, sir.
So the roads in white are the ones that we can.
Now, I just caution y'all, if y'all add any other roads that are not listed on this, we don't have a cost estimate for those projects. These are prepared, these were cost estimates that we were prepared last year. That's why we're asking y'all.
Do we have a radio station on the list?
It's here.
Yes, ma'am, there's
It's
2
in
radio
white.
stations on that list.
Yes.
So that means that we can.
Between the two, it's an estimated 4.3 million for radio station though.
So what you saying, I can't add it?
Yeah, we can't put it on.
No, ma'am, it was just, I'm just pointing out, you have 2 separate radio stations.
That's
One is a
fine, I'll
1
take
million
all
and
you
one is
give me.
3.3.
One come in on one end and one come in on the
Yeah.
other, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I've been through there.
All the way?
Yeah, a lot of dead space in between.
All the way?
Station down there 3 times.
Okay, I'll get with you on it.
So you wanna do it now, Mr. Mike, or you want?
Yeah, we need
Get what you
y'all, to- if
individually-
y'all would pick this now, that's why we sent y'all the list in advance. If y'all could pick
Is,
a few more,
Put the yellow ones.
What's that road,
Funded by
what's that road?
HB2
What's that road you used to have? Well, you still got, I was talking about, I know one of them is Red Lake.
These
Small.
are in
It starts
process,
small.
still a
It's all-
5-year term. These have not been put on.
Go ahead and make it, Kyle, and I'll go with you.
The ones that are
Okay, so I can add.
Can't make, I mean,
He's asking for names now to put on
I
that to get the
believe you
budget.
can. I don't quite understand it.
Spates Road.
Mr.
We'll go by
The
one by
ones in
one,
white,
Jerry.
we can add to the 5-year plan.
yes, sir.
Red Bluff.
Radio station?
I'm just asking if y'all are adding roads, just be cognizant of roads that are coming off where the value is at 1.6 million. So y'all have a couple $1 million to work with if we want to stay within that $40 million continued 5-year plan.
What about Red Bluff Road?
The whole road, are they?
Whichever road y'all want to add, I just ask that the jury vote on it. So
we can't vote.
Which road you just said?
Red Bluff.
It's not on.
So, I mean, where we're going at, we're
I
gonna
mean,
have.
you can make the
Hey, man,
alternate, I'm
I'm-
saying y'all can make an alternate motion
Red Lake.
to add
Red
a
Lake,
couple
yeah.
I'll
roads.
let you add some.
We'd have to
No,
get the
no.
list and then
No,
make
I
one
see.
alternate motion to add all of them.
One mix on it.
Can't have more than one alternate motion.
I don't follow you. Y'all have the list. You have 2 lists here. You have the master list, and then you have the prior capital outlay list.
I could,
The motion says approve the roads.
but I don't.
I wanna see Red Lake.
Recommend approving the roads. Are we allowed to
Are you writing these?
I'm good with that, but
Okay.
I just,
vote and change
Just
that?
write them
I mean,
down, and bring, just call them out when,
Make an alternate
let's come to a
motion
vote.
to add
Well, I
specific
think what we need to do, get everybody road listed and then put all of them in a bundle
multiple alternate
and to vote on it.
No,
Well,
so we're going to
that-
have to make one list. If every juror wants to throw in a road like what you said, then everybody will throw in one and we'll add 11 to his list and make one alternate motion with 11 roads.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Okay, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry, I was talking to her.
Mr. President,
So, yes, sir.
Mr. Administrator, would you turn around and tell everybody this is basically a wish list? Actually, it is.
yes, we are going to submit this with our application November 1st or before November 1st to the state for the HB2 money. It is a wish list. The state will likely not give us all the money. They're going to probably give us some of it in P1, which is cash, some of it may do P2 or P5 money. This last session, they gave us cash option. The first option was 1.6 million, which we're going to use on 2 of the roads this session. And then they earmarked $38 million of our requests from last year in P5 money, which is future money that's bonded in the future, so. Yeah. This is just to continue our request so we don't fall behind on these road projects.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Fuller, we'll start with you. You gonna add to the,
Good. I'm already on.
yeah. Mr. Mitchell?
Spates Road.
Bates? Okay, Mrs. Boyd?
Radio station, both ends.
Okay, so you're wanting to do both those projects? Now, just the first two that y'all have named is over $7 million additional money that's gonna go to the state. Just be aware of that. That's why I want y'all to look at these roads. That's why we sent those to y'all in advance. Because this matters. If we're gonna add to our list from last year, you're basically adding, okay, we have $38 million in there right now. So whatever y'all add tonight's gonna add to the $38 million, and that requires a match from the jury. So just be aware of that.
And that's a $38 million request. That doesn't
Yes,
mean-
that's a request, but if
said it's
for
a-
some reason they decide to give us everything, which I doubt they will, we just have to be able to fund our 25% match of that. So,
Add, Bradshaw, 49 to Mount Zion. How many can we get? 10?
According to, it's a wish list.
Yes, sir, yeah, I'm wishing.
Mr. Kyle?
I'm just gonna put on there Linwood, you pick a section. It's
Okay.
not horrible now, but in the next 5 years, it's gonna be. And, that'll be multi-districts, mine, and I know Reggie's or Robbie's and Reggie's at the
Yes, sir.
time. I do have a question.
One of the words, Red Lick or Georgia?
So like the I-49 North Industrial Park, we've already gotten that grant, and we've already put our money.
We've got the money for the Brazil Road section, that's the new section. The Park Road, which is the front end, is where we're spending that smaller
Red Lick
allocation.
started at church.
Okay, and so the PTF fund, we're getting that money regardless, and that's 5 million, a little over 5 million on this list.
Clear Lake
The-
side.
It says Parish Transportation Fund. About the sixth one, seventh one down.
Yes, that's,
Go with George Small.
right, that's
We're getting that regardless of our capital request.
correct.
So why include that 5 million?
Wanna get it?
We included it last year to make you guys aware of the cost of those particular PTF roads, if y'all wanted to choose one of your PTF roads. Because we only get, how much? About
Isn't
half
that
a-
shorten us 5 and a quarter?
500.
About $500,000 a year for PTF. So, yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Hall?
Pull up, man.
Spates Road. Yeah, it's on mine.
So Mr. Mitchell and Mr. Holmes, Spates Road? I'm sorry, Ms. Trina,
say
did
something,
you, excuse me, Ms. Trina, did you have one on here that you wanted to,
She said radio station.
you want to do both of them?
It's a wish list, I'm
Okay,
putting it on there,
sure.
I'm gonna wish it right on in there. See
Yeah,
what
she
happens.
gonna do both of them, 'cause she got one part, I got the other. It's
I'm
only
gonna
fair.
wish them on both in there.
And then, that's why I was gonna say my other one was Fire Tower with me and Mr. Burrell.
She got one in, I got the other. And these two right there.
All right.
Yes,
Mr. Ross?
I'm gonna leave Sam Booker on there and add, Red Lick. Oxford Cutoff.
Oxford Cutoff?
Yes.
Yep.
They go right. Yeah.
Mr. Rowe?
Yeah, I'm gonna do George Small, my half, and Arnell will do the other half.
That's all right.
Mr. Parker?
Nash.
Ash?
Nash.
Nash, okay.
Wait a minute, Miss Burrell, it's your turn.
Oh, mine with Trina.
Radio station? Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Mr.
Arnell, he was
Jones?
with me.
Mine was Reggie.
Okay.
George Small.
Mr. Baker?
Mr. Baker.
At the end of orange, they're already taken care of, right?
You might want to be on
Yeah,
Linwood,
if they're
Mr. Baker.
highlighted orange, they're already on the capital outlay request.
Okay. You have a correction you need to make on your 5-year capital outlay plan 2022. You got, Jesse Latin, Cash Butler, the Red Bluff is mine, that belongs to Mr. Fuller.
That's the current district. Those don't roll back over until January 1st. They don't change, the districts don't change until January 1st. That's
Well,
why they're in
even the
here.
old districts,
That's still mine.
it was Richard,
Oh,
and the
okay.
new districts, it's Richard.
Oh, it's Richard, either way you go.
Richard, either way you look. Yeah, I'm gonna be.
Yes, sir,
nice.
we can correct that. Yes, sir.
It's not in my district, but I'm gonna add it. Red Bluff Road, I-49 to 175. I don't have any other roads in there.
Just help me out, man. You
All
need
right.
a road now. I can
That
help you
both
out.
for ours too. That's mine too.
Part of that's his, I see, I have 2 fellow jurors out on that one.
I know, right?
So that's all of them.
Yes, sir.
So moved.
I got,
Second, third.
I got a motion by Mr. Baker, second by Mr. Rowe, Mr. Fuller. Discussion? None, please vote.
Come back, woman, you gotta vote.
One more, we just did.
We just did with the roads. Might wanna keep this.
Should've let me your thing, I would've voted for you. And vote yes.
We'll keep this.
Motion passes.
Recommend award low bid for regional construction of road improvements on Cody Drive, Hannah Tucker Road, Jesse Latin Road, Kyle Porter Road, and amend the road budget in the amount of $610,000.
I make a motion.
Got a motion by Mr. Holmes,
Second.
second by Mr. Fuller, Ms. Burrell, Ms. Boyd.
I call for the question.
Say a word.
What say, don't recognize it?
No. Everything stopped.
That means stop. See there, Mr. Fuller, that's how you do it.
Please vote.
I said, he wasn't addressed.
Yeah, so he didn't
He
get it.
wasn't,
Recognized.
I dressed my own self.
Motion passes.
Recommend authorizing the president to sign a corporate endeavor agreement with the town of Logansport for road repairs on Ashton Street and Lovell Lane. ARPA money, I guess that's yours.
Mr. Mitchell made the motion?
No, Mr.
Oh,
Fuller
Mr.
did.
Fuller made the motion?
He wants to see me get it done.
Is that your ARPA money, Mr.?
Second by Ms.
Yes,
Boyd.
it is.
Yes, he said that's his money. Spend my money.
Discussion?
No.
No discussion, please vote. Two remaining.
who again?
I'm trying to put your boot back.
I know I hit that.
Only Mr. Fuller.
One remaining.
I hit yes. I hit yes for you.
I'm gonna get them all changed out, I promise.
There you go.
Motion passes.
You know, I wonder why I never have a problem with my button.
Because you be stealing mine.
I call for a question on next item too.
Motion to adjourn?
No move.
Got a motion to adjourn. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
We adjourn. Good night, everyone.
Yeah, we'll see you later. Going to Mexico.